So one of you tagged me in a video by a creator I will tag below. I think her name is Dr. Bitchcraft, and she basically goes through how all of these private equity guys are being put into the Trump administration. And it led me to want to talk about what's coming next, quote unquote. Obviously, I'm not a fortune teller or anything of that nature, but people have been DMing me and asking me like what is the plan? What do you think they're going to do? I think basically what you see happening with private equity and the basically the shitification of everything, that is going to translate to the federal government. So, if you want to get just a general gist of private equity, I suggest you go and check out the podcast Oddly Specific by Meredith Lynch. I will also tag her here. She's the one that really got me interested in listening to private equity. She did a series of interviews with Gretchen Morgensen, who is a financial reporter slash analyst. And basically, the gist of private equity is these are the old pump and dump schemes of the 1980s that have been they got a makeover and now they're called private equity. But essentially what they do is they go into these large corporations like Toys R Us, Dunkin' Donuts, Walmart, Samsonite. They go in and they try and help them run quote unquote more efficiently with what is basically essentially the move fast and break things model of efficiency. So what they do is they'll usually go in, they will cull the staff. So if there's 100 people working someplace, they might reduce it to 30 people under the guise of efficiency and saving money. If a company has the mortgage paid already on their like building or whatever, a lot of times private equity will go out and get a second mortgage, or they will sell off that property and then get the company to go and buy real estate somewhere else, which is usually more expensive. And the private equity firm, they will do all of these efficiency measures, pay themselves an exorbitant rate, and then leave the company with all of the debt and all of the load. And what that usually translates to for the consumer is worse products, worse customer service, and just like generally a worse experience overall. I think anyone that has been a patron of Dunkin' Donuts over the last 7 years has probably seen a steady decrease in their product offerings and their customer service. Why is that? It's private equity. Private equity also is the reason why Walmart employees, a lot of them do not work 40 hours a week, because private equity was like, hey, if people work 40 hours a week, then they're entitled to certain benefits and certain treatment. If you don't want to pay all of that stuff, reduce their hours so that it's less than full time. They don't qualify. And now that people are like using food stamps and stuff to make ends meet and to get, medical care, they'll depend on the government. So that was my little rant on private equity, but what does that mean for the federal government? My prediction is that you're basically going to see the private equity-ification of the federal government. So Doge is going in now and is calling things like Social Security a Ponzi scheme, which it's not. Medicaid, Medicare, all of these programs that a lot of everyday Americans rely on, SNAP benefits, they've gone in and they've already demonized it to the point where the average American who is closer to a SNAP beneficiary than they are to Elon Musk now thinks that these programs are unnecessary, wasteful, and they cater to people who are lazy. So they're going to use like the propaganda that they've pushed to the ordinary American citizen, in addition to their own ends, to go in, cull all of these programs, and then use the money for things that are going to be beneficial for the administration and a lot of Trump's friends. And you're already seeing that with the crypto thing that's going on. Crypto is an insecure asset. The only people that can really devise new novel crypto coins are people that already have a bunch of money, and also not only have a bunch of money, but have a bunch of money that they won't miss if it's gone. Average people cannot play this game. So they want to cut Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, USAID, all of these programs, park rangers, take some of that money and funnel it into crypto so that their friends can enrich themselves. This is the classic private equity move that's being orchestrated in the federal government. So what I foresee happening, especially in terms of how this is going to affect like the regular private workforce, is like I said in a previous video, the federal government dictates corporate structure in America, not the reverse. So once the federal government falls, hopefully it won't, but if or when it actually does, I foresee you're going to start seeing AI replacing a lot of the workforce. They've already intimated this. Elon Musk has said this before, that, oh, he wants to use AI to replace some of these call center workers for the federal government. So you're going to see a culling of the workforce, the federal workforce, that's going to trickle down to the private industry. A lot of those people are going to be replaced with AI, even though AI is not the most efficient. It doesn't matter, because an inefficient AI is still way cheaper than paying a regular person salary and benefits. So a culling of the workforce. The people that are left there are going to be subject to probably decreases in pay and decreases in benefits, for the whole point of efficiency and cost savings. So the federal government is still one of the only employers that will give you like a really good retirement savings, perhaps even pension. I'll have to look that up, but I think they still actually do pensions. You don't see that anywhere else in the private industry. So once the federal government basically says, hey, you're on your own in terms of retirement, to both private citizens that are not Fed employees and also Fed employees, that is going to give the green light to a lot of corporations to cull down those benefits. And it's going to trickle down, and you're going to basically see the private equity push that you've seen in private industries and all those companies that I've shown before reach the federal government, and then it will just kind of be a free-for-all. I would really encourage everyone to read up on private equity. Like I said, check out Meredith Lynch. I'm going to tag her. And also check out Gretchen Morgensen. She wrote a book by the title of These Are the New Plunderers, and it talks all about private equity, all of the players, Leon Black, KKR, the guy that was mentioned in the previous video by the other creator. These people, they're all about their money. Leon Black allegedly raped one of his mistresses. He paid Jeffrey Epstein upwards of $150 million to help him with tax evasion. Who is the other one? There was one guy, his name begins with an S. I'm not going to try and pronounce it, but essentially, and this creator that I'm going to tag speaks to it. Barack Obama was going to close a loophole that required, that helped with like billionaires and really wealthy people avoid taxes. And this particular private equity guy equated Barack Obama's closing of this loophole to basically being the mustache man. It was equivalent to a Yahtzee salute, kind of thing against billionaires. So the sense of entitlement and the sense of nothing ever being enough is so strong with these people. And now they basically have carte blanche, it seems, in our federal government. So I just wanted to talk about that. This is where I see things headed. America is basically going to be the victim of a private equity scheme if all of these things are allowed to continue.